you guitar people. We're looking today at a personal line array system. And why do we do that? Why did Bose, think it's a good idea to pay some dude from a guitar channel to talk about a personal PA system? Well, because the Rona's out, big concerts can't be done, but small concerts can. And we musicians need to make money. And that means let's cut out the middleman of the PA people as, well, I mean, they also need to make money. But if you want to go and play at a small club, a small cafe, this might just do the trick. But before it's here, it has to be unboxed. And oh, what fun we had, because it's a big box. So let's look at that.
I've been waiting and again that you're gone for good. Think about it, burn your lighters, wish I only could. Forget your bonus that you keep appearing in my dreams like a vision, a decision that's been made as it seems. But don't leave me standing here like an idiot in the rain. Oh, I miss the tender kisses and your lovely smile, and I damn, those are the men who made you say goodbye. Should've known that I'd blown it when you looked away. The direction of your affection had long gone astray. But don't leave me standing here like an idiot in the rain.
Yeah, Leslie had some fun there. Not. Thomann, who sent this to me, put the Bose box, which is actually pretty handleable, with handles and literally with handles and all that. It's a rather nice, simple packaging in a big ass box, and that's how you're probably going to get it. But that actual Bose box can be shipped by itself, and I think it should, because it's much easier to handle than the huge box. I think the packaging is rather nice. Subwoofer in there, and in it is, as you saw, the little bag for the columns. Columns? What? Wait, I have a cheat sheet here because there's a lot of stuff to cover. A lot of stuff. Yeah, these columns come in this, I would call it scratch protect bag, no more than that. And this is what they are. For the 8, which is what we're looking at, you have a column with 8 tiny little speakers in it. We're going to talk about how they're arranged later. And then you have an empty column right here, which is just plastic. For the bigger systems, these also have speakers in them. Let me show you how you put it together, because if it takes you more than 20 seconds, you lose it.
Show you what we used to be, that's giving love sweet little Tiffany. 'Cause without love, it's only oxygen we breathe. I'm alone.
So that, I gotta say, every single person can do. And you can get it into the club or cafe or wherever. Subwoofer in one hand and that little bag in the other. It's one trip from the car. Now, is it a trip that's really no fun? Because PA systems are never fun. These big tripods, they pinch your fingies, and then you put the speakers on, and it's like, and then you can pinch your finger, and that we've all hurt ourselves in one way or another. And then you want some bass, well, you gotta get the subwoofer in, and that's no fun. And then you gotta keep and all that stuff. So PAs, no fun. How much does a thing weigh?
I'm alone, I'm overthrown, and I've been betrayed. Altogether, tired and feathered, but I'm not afraid. Pretty please, I'm on my knees, I don't know what I've done. Didn't hurt you or desert you, wouldn't dare to run.
Yeah, no shit. It clocks in at 17.2 kilograms. The whole thing, including subwoofer and everything. Every single person that heard it goes like, okay, and then they lift it and they're like, what? That what? Is honest. Let's take a listen. And here's the difficulty Here's the difficulty with showing you a PA system. You can't mic it. You gotta be in the room. You gotta see how it disperses in the room and spreads out. You gotta feel the bass. In the end of this video, what I say in my experience with it, which hopefully you trust, even though I am getting paid to do this, it's literally all that matters. So I tried my best to actually put you in the room with a singer-songwriter, of course, the amazing Rafael Cano, who I put, get this, in front of it with the mic and the guitar. So usually, in addition to the PA system you got to carry around with you, you also have to carry some kind of monitor so that you hear yourself, which means that monitor also has to be carried and hooked up, and there's got to be some monitor level on a little mixer, all that shit. With this, at usable levels, there's very little feedback for reasons of something I don't understand physics. Magic. There isn't really any feedback. So he's sitting about a meter to the right, maybe 150, maybe meter to the front. He's sitting in front of it. He can hear himself perfectly. All we used was this system, mic directly into it, and the acoustic guitar is going through a Fishman Aura just to give it a little bit more of a mic'd feel. And that's it. No additional mixer, nada. You will hear this, please, with headphones, because I'm using these 3DO silicone binaural microphones, which means once you listen back what was recorded with these, you're actually in the room. You can also see them in the video where they were placed. So technically, where I'm sitting, you got a front row seat to the performance. Enjoy.
Sleeping by the telephone, hoping you might call someday. Treat me like a toy that's getting boring and you throw me away. I wonder what you're hiding from, wonder what the fuck went wrong. 'Cause once upon a time we were as merry as the day is long. I should have seen in your eyes that this was last goodbye. But every time you are here, you make my world disappear. And baby, you make me lose the ground. You got me head over heels, you put a spoke in my wheel, you turn my universe upside down. Remember when we used to say that nothing could unlock our chains? And now it seems like all those painful efforts have been made in vain. The fairy tale is ending here, the hero doesn't get his way. Disconnect the telephone, this hope has finally gone astray. I should have seen in your eyes that this was last goodbye. But every time you are here, you make my world disappear. And baby, you make me lose the ground. You got me head over heels, you put a spoke in my wheel, you turn my universe upside down and downside up and upside down. Downside up and upside down. You turn my universe upside down.
Thank you, Rafa, for this. That's, for me, a realistic demonstration, of course, without people, because, the Rona. So, this is great for live, but if you fork over the money, you might as well use it at home, either to listen to some music or to practice, just to have fun with the acoustic instrument. or your piano in a music school. This would be really killer to just, make a piano, an electric piano louder. And then when they have little gigs, bam, put it up. So what you can do is take only the top part and mount it directly onto the bottom part. And here's a clip of how that's done. So it's rather simple. You simply just plug in the top and that's it. And it makes it a really compact system with 2 inputs and Bluetooth. If you want a pumping, loud as fuck, Bluetooth speaker for $1,300, that thing kicks ass. What is a line array? Johan Norgren from Bose was nice enough to spend a lot of time with me on the phone and try to explain this to me. It's a thing where the speakers are in a line. And Bose came up with these systems, I think, more than 10 years ago. And in between, they've been copied. They've been successfully copied by other companies. They've gone down in price because other companies can maybe produce them cheaper and they're not as, high-end as Bose is. And so it was time for Bose to say, this is the thing that we came up with. This is the thing that we've pioneered. Let's bring it on the next level. And that's what they've done. They've also lowered the price, which is pretty damn cool. Well, there's competition out there now. So the great thing about this line array system, and again, this is the one that has 8 speakers on top. The next one has 16 and a little bit bigger subwoofer, I think. Then there's one with 32 and a massive subwoofer, 32 little speakers. The idea is, what he explained to me is, don't treat it like a normal PA. If you were to treat it like a normal PA, you would sit in front of it and make it louder than you would want it. Because that's what we think as musicians on stage. It's got to be ridiculously loud so that the audience can hear it, especially an audience 16, 20 meters away. This is different. Because A, it's high, and B, it spreads differently. So if you approach it with the idea of a normal musician on stage, you're going to make it too loud. And then it's not going to be very pleasant. Sit in front of it, put it on a level where you say, that's neat, I like it, I'm enjoying this, this is cool, I'm jamming, and leave it there. Then, once you go into the audience, you're going to go like, that's nice. It should almost feel as if there isn't amplification. It should almost feel as if the musician on stage is just projecting to you. And that's kind of the feel I had with Rafa in the room. He was just elevated a little bit. And that's what the system is supposed to do. It's not supposed to replace the big-ass PA for the double bass drum, 20-something huge kick drum and go... So it's supposed to elevate the musician in the room to a level that, can fill the room. Another thing is, a normal PA, 2 speakers and all that stuff, once you set up a level, once you go 16 meters away, that's what they told me, it will go down X amount of dB. I forgot. 24, something like that. This will go down half the dB. Therefore, feel 4 times this. Something like, it'll feel louder way back in the room, which means you don't have to make it as loud. We don't want ridiculous volume. We want fun. We want a fun gig. If we look at the other versions, the 16 and the 32, they have a different spready pattern. I prepared a little clip where you can really clearly see that this is a C-shaped distribution of the little speakers. And that, of course, is great because it will spread it down, up, straight, everywhere. There's a 180-degree radius where literally this thing sounds the same. You don't have to be in front of the speakers. Go to a normal PA speaker and stand right next to it. High end is gone. This ridiculously actually does spread all across the room, and I don't know why and how, but they have little openings in the back, and even behind it, the sound isn't bad. It isn't. So we actually prepared a camera here where you can see that as well, where you can see that it's actually going wee, wee. So on the 16, the one on the top is straight, I think, and then the one at the bottom is curved, and on the 32 it's completely straight for reasons that I don't know. Again, they're for different purposes, bigger rooms, less projecting at the ceiling. Pick the system that A, you can afford, B, you want to carry, and C, that has the projection that you need. Graphic was right here. Moving on. Let's look at the panel, which is pretty cool because a lot of these systems have kind of input done. And you have to have a mixer or whatever. So they made it in the original system, the original L1, I think, was like that. It only had an input, 1/4-inch mono. Of course, it's mono. This has a lot more on the panel. There are 2 XLR inputs, which of course can also be 1/4-inch. They can be switched between mic and instrument. They have mute buttons. And they have bass, treble, and reverb as well as volume, all through one convenient little knob up here. Treble, bass, reverb, get some of that in there, volume. And once you leave it on some other parameter, after a while, it immediately jumps back to volume, which is rather nice. So you got 2 input channels for instruments. Then there's an, let's call it aux input channel. See, it switched back. Which you could go in with anything line level. Also a little, right here. Mini jack from anything, mini stereo input, and of course Bluetooth. So yeah, you can literally pump Bluetooth into this, and you have treble and bass on that channel. At higher volumes, I advise to go and take the treble down because it can get a little bit trebly. But those are volumes that you literally shouldn't even run with this thing. Both mic inputs, as you can see here, have phantom power. Then there's the system EQ. System EQ. Which right now is off, which I recommend for music, so that way you actually define the EQ. At live, for some reason, the bass drops out quite a bit. It might be for feedback purposes, but it reduces the bass. It might be the thing about the feedback. For music, the bass gets pumped in quite a bit. And for speech, I assume they're adding some upper mids. So if you know nothing about PAs, it might be a good idea to just go to the mode that you're, working in. There's a line out to go to another system if you wanted that, and why not? And then there's this Cat5 connection, and that is actually pretty cool. That's for tone match, because you can use their mixers, which have been out for a while. I gotta look here. The T4S, which is a 4-input mixer, has effects, has loads of presets for different applications. So if you know nothing about mixing, but you need to do it, get that little mixer and say, okay, I'm playing an acoustic guitar. I'm singing into a mic with, and it's this mic. And then you go to that setting, and then someone did a preset that they find pleasant. But in those little mixers, they're small, they're mobile, and I think they're rather pricey for what they are. The 4-input mixer is $525, but they are made to go with these systems and to be operated by people that don't know how to mix. So 4-input mixer, each channel has a tone match setting, and then you simply just connect it with a Cat5 cable, and that's it. And that's rather simple. And then the 8-input mixer, would you really have a gig with this where you need 8 inputs? I say no, but maybe you say yes. That's $759. Again, you can buy a lot more mixers. You can buy digital mixers with whatever, and then simply go XLR out into this, which is probably what I would do, considering that it's $759 for the 8-input mixer, which you literally really kind of only use with this. But these have the tone match feature. With this also has, and you can access that with the app. So if we go again to the back, there's also mute buttons right here, which can be very easy and very nice if you just quickly want to go, okay, I'm going to grab a drink. That's my mic channel, off. Super simple, super straightforward. And then there's the on-off button. How does it sound as a louder maker for a guitar modeler? Let's say you get hired, and I was hired for this once, just noodle in the background over some backing tracks. So you're pumping the backing tracks in. Thank you, Tom James from Elevated Jam Tracks, for the very nice backing track that you did. With Bluetooth, hook up your modeler. I did mono, helix on the ground, programmed some sounds, bam, play for a vernissage or whatever, where you literally wouldn't want a big PA. Just visually, imagine there's a vernissage and people are like, oh, c'est très bleu, alors wirklich so, oh, c'est bleu, oh, c'est très, très bien. You know, would you want a big subwoofer, all the cabling, the big tripod stands with a... No. This is stylish. So, we had Vanessa using this XF705 with the binaural mic, and she was walking around. So use headphones and experience how it sounds pretty much the same anywhere in the room. Thank you, Vanessa, for working with me on this. Here's me noodling a bit. Badly, by the way. So, realistically, would I recommend it as a FR speaker for guitar? I don't think I would, because does it work? Yes. Would it work for the vernissage? Absolutely. Is it good enough? Absolutely. Is it good enough for you? It felt like my whole guitar sound was coming out of the top. It felt like there was top end and there was a lot of it. But the guitars don't go into the sub area. And it felt like the crossover for the frequency was just so that the guitar doesn't really have any bottom. And it really felt the mids, which is where the guitars live. The guitar lives in the mids, wasn't represented correctly. However, I also didn't play around with it too much. So could you do a tone match input EQ for modular? Probably. Could you go to a different? Yes. I can probably get better sounds out of it than I experienced. It didn't feel like a guitar amp. Would it do the job? Yes, it would. And you know what? It's about getting the job done and getting paid. So there you go. It's also lighter than any guitar amp. Well, one of the really cool things, really cool thing, which is really, is that you can be self-contained. Meaning, you can carry this yourself. Then you carry the mic stand, the mic, the cables, and your acoustic guitar. That's 2 trips to the car. Put a chair down. But the panel is behind the damn thing. So how are you going to operate it and hear what it sounds like in the room? Room. You will by using le up, which is Hungarian for something. So I'm in the Bose app. And I called it Bose. You can give it a name if you have several of them. And I'm picking Bose. And the whole panel, ba-bam, is right there. So I can, pick my volume. I can go to treble, bass. It's simply the back panel mirrored, which means I could sit right here and go a little bit more reverb. Take that down a bit. Beautiful. I can be on mic, instrument, or off. Again, it's just the back panel mirrored. Here you have the mode, live, music. And see how it's switching? Again, if I have... See how this goes one-on-one? So I literally don't have to crawl behind it, check my level, go to the guitar again. You can have a gig of one if you wanted that. Now, tone match. Wait, you do this up here. Where is it? I go, here. Here are the two channels, channel 1 and 2. And this is German, I'm sorry. I'm saying microphone. I can say, a head mic, bright, normal. But there's also a list that sadly doesn't include Lewitt mics, even though they're like the best ones on this list. That's kind of weird. I mean, they'd be the best ones on this list if they had them. For Rafa, we use the Lewitt MTP 740, which is awesome. So let's say we go to Sennheiser, and you can pick, out of 2. I'm sure that this list should and will get amended. Of course, you can go to 58. It's loading it, and now it has these settings that would be preferable for 58. You could also, of course, go to... I don't quite understand why they have specific guitars other than advertising them. Acoustics, DJ, those are kinds of guitars, I guess. Why in the world are there Gibsons? Nobody should have Gibson ever. No, they're just not nice people. Basses, miscellaneous, electric guitars. I don't quite get the Gretsch Country Gent thing. Are you going to plug in with a Gretsch Country Gent and go to that preset and that's going to PRS Custom 22? I don't understand that. But just don't do it. Just unless, maybe it's awesome. I don't know. That's not going to be a guitar amp simulation. It'll just be like an EQ, I guess. There, electric guitar mic with a 609. See, that preset I can understand. Specific guitars, don't really. Keyboards, that makes sense. Mandolin, violin, accordion, see, that makes sense to me. Basses, miscellaneous, active bass, that, you see there, that's kind of cool. Music Man Stingray, okay then. That might just be a fun gimmick. But again, I also know how to EQ something. If you don't, that might actually be cool. So the app, I think, is way cool when you're sitting in your position, listening, or walking through the room. A little bit more of this, a little bit less of that. Way cool. It is meant as a personal monitoring system. And also kind of a system that then goes into the audience. So instead of pumping your whole band through it with an 8-input mixer, the idea is piano and bass would go through this. And they are next to it. They can hear themselves beautifully. And that means the audience can hear it. And then acoustic guitar and vocals would go through maybe another one. So you would have maybe 1, 2, 3 of these on stage as a personal system and also the PA into the audience. That really makes sense to me. It's a completely different concept thinking about a PA. And I think especially for an upright bass player. Standing here. It would be really, really cool because you have all the high end right there. You have the low end. I'm not an upright bass player, but I'm a bass player. So let's check it out with bass. So I thought that worked really well, better than the guitar. And overall at 1300, if you play more clean bass and stuff, I think in especially in venues and top 40 gigs, instead of buying a bass rig, I think this makes sense. Why? Is it better than a bass rig? No, it's not. But it then can do a lot more than a bass rig can. So if you just need to listen to hear yourself, again, for jazz, Latin, for a lot of these things, you can also put the piano in, and at 1300, you all of a sudden amplified les deux instruments. I don't know what language that was. So who is it for? It is for working musicians. Is this going to be the thing for the rock band? Hell no. Are you going to mic up a bass drum into a 24 input mixer and then put it all in there and have it pump the rock while there's 412 cabs on stage? No, that it's the singer-songwriter, perfect. The jazz, yes. The upright bass player, yes. The piano in loud, yes. The vocalist, yes. The speech, let's talk about speech. This is perfect for a speaker at a conference or something. Why? Because it looks so much less imposing than a big-ass PA. And if you have a headset mic or a wireless mic, let's say from Sennheiser, plug that in and that's all you need. That, and you're good. Put that next to the podium. Everyone hears you. Loud and fat, beautiful. At my brother's party, we had a Lewitt MTP 440 and the guy was doing stuff. It was thick sound. It is for all these. It is, I think, perfect for churches. I'm not the church guy, trust me, but that looks so much better in a corner in a church than any PA system. And it also can be set up by people that don't know how to set these things up. Let's talk about alternatives. Since Bose released these things 1,000 years ago, many other companies, as it happens, go like, oh, good idea, let's do that. And be inspired, especially the Chinese, they always get inspired. I'm friends with the people at LD Systems, and they have something similar. It's called the Maui. However, the Maui clocks in with a case for the tops and the bottom, 300 less than this. It has Bluetooth, but it has really no mixer. It is one input for a mic, one for line. There's no EQ, there's no reverb, which means realistically to do a gig with it, you have to add that. You have to plug it in, you have to wire it up, you have to know how to use it. And that already is one extra step that I don't think I would want to do if I use a system like that. It also then adds the $300 that the Maui is cheaper. So the Maui is also, I think the connection between the columns is more stable because here it's just the plastic connection. On the Maui, there's metal poles. So I think it is a stronger connection. So way to go LD. However, and that's a big however, the LD system clocks in overall at 30 kilo. This is 17.2. Huge difference for me. That is a huge difference and a reason to buy this. Of course, this is, next level shit. So yeah, there are other systems. I have to say I was very critical because I thought this clocks in at roughly where the old systems clocked in at 2000, 1800. When I heard that it was $1,298, I was like, okay, I was going to bitch about this because this isn't going to protect these plastic columns. Metal up here, this is all plastic. This is going to protect them in the car from scratching. It is not going to protect them from breaking if something bumps into it. Your mic stand smashes into it. I was going to say like 100-watt head, which is a stupid argument because you're not going to have this in a band where someone is playing a 100-watt head. Okay? Your acoustic guitar case, yes. Your cajon, yes. So something could smash into it, but not a 100-watt head. So how protective is this? I would say not enough for regular use. There's also no case for the subwoofer. And at the original price that I thought it had, I was going to bitch about that. Well, at $1,298, I'm okay with this. No protection for the sub, but at $200 extra, you can buy a good case for the sub and the columns, and then you had 1,500, and therefore still not at the original price of where they were. So I'm good with that. Also, Thomann is going to offer like a light protective case, and then something. They have their own case thing, so probably cheaper than the original Bose. In terms of build quality, yeah, it's plastic. Yeah, the sub's plastic. I'm sure it's good plastic, but if something really, bam, bounces into that, something sharp, something heavy, at a gig, this is going to bend, plastic's going to break. So I wish that this was aluminum. Maybe this was more of a, thing that would bend and dent instead of crack. However, according to the guy from Bose, they haven't had any reports about that happening. Primarily, and I have to say this, yes, I get it, because these systems aren't used in a big band setup. They're not going to be used in a setup where you travel on a tour with the whole band. There's no 412 crank into. This is going to go into like a Fiat 500 in the back, together with your mandolin, microphone, and harmonica. That kind of setup. It's going to go into the trunk with a little Nordlied clavier keyboard. That's the kind of setup. And I love the fact that you can go to a gig at the wedding, the bat mitzvah, all these things, or a church thing or whatever, and be set up in 30 seconds. Okay, another 2 minutes. 5 minutes, you're set up, you're ready to go. You don't even have to walk over to the thing, take your app, okay, thing, a little bit more reverb for the vocal. Done. The thing I don't like is no master volume. That would be nice. If you wanted more bass, you'd have to add that on all channels. If you want more volume, you have to add that on all channels. Having sub control and master volume control would be nice. Maybe not on the thing itself. Actually, I would like it on the thing itself. That is literally the one thing I wish it had. Master volume control. Because if you want everything louder, you have to go louder on everything. Okay? You have to go... And yeah. I'm gonna say recommended. Be careful. First thing I did is put on some Daughtry, Crystal Algae mix, loads of bass, heavy guitars, pump that in with Bluetooth and set it to half the volume, which is a lot. Because I'm thinking like a normal system. It needs to be way louder where I'm standing so that people over there hear it. And that is wrong thinking. And at that point, it got a little bit tinny. The high end was unpleasant. I had ringing in my ear. I was running it at way too high a volume, which it can do. But at that point, also, that's what Bose says, take down the high mids, go to 2.5K, roll that down in your app if you can, in Apple Music, in Spotify, whatever, EQ it a bit. I just took the treble down. And everything was fine. All of a sudden, the vocals are there, the hi-hat's not annoying anymore. So if you're running high volumes, you have to tweak it a bit. Okay? Don't say it's a shitty system, just tweak it. Other than that, Bose updated the system that they've pioneered. It was about time. And they lowered the price. So yeah, is $12.98 a lot for 3 pieces of plastic with some speakers in it, and it goes a thing that goes It is very plasticky, as everything is from Bose. I bought Leslie a soundbar and sub for her house, and we're enjoying that very much. It's good stuff. I got what are these things that don't let you hear things? Noise canceling headphones, 2 pairs for when we travel. It's good stuff. It's a high-end company. We can also argue the plastic really adds to the lightweight. And as long as it's good plastic, again, they said no issues. I'm putting links below. You should really hear it yourself. Go to a shop where they have it, walk around, pump some music into it, grab an acoustic guitar, and experience it. At the party, they loved it. The DJ was like, holy crap, that's awesome. Rafa was sitting there and was like, wait a second, I love this. He just heard himself in a pleasant way. That was it. Thank you, Bose, for commissioning this video. Thanks, Thomann, for being in the middle of it all. And we're gonna say, follow me on Instagram, please. And Facebook and all these things really matter to companies for some reason. And links below, they help. They are affiliate links. If you buy anything after you click the link, I get money. So thank you. And then there was something about animals at the end.